Hello, and welcome to Positively United. Yes! What a performance! What a performance today! I mean, those of us who were very, very happy to see Michael Carrick installed as the head coach until the end of the season. I mean, I couldn't have expected anything as good as that today. I thought Carrick would improve things. I thought the team he'd brought on board would improve things. But I did not believe for one single second that they would improve things that much in such a short period of time. 3 days. 3 days they've had with that squad. And what we saw today was a team playing with organisation, with purpose, with confidence, with freedom to express themselves. Have you seen a performance like that from Manchester United in the last 2 or 3 years? I don't think you have. That was a proper Manchester United performance. That was as good as we saw under the period when Ollie was a temporary manager before he got the contract. That was an outstanding performance today. Absolutely outstanding. And congratulations to Michael Carrick and his team. You know, people will say, don't get giddy. And no doubt there would be circumstances today, the fact that it was a home game, the fact it was the first a game for Michael Carrick in his second stint as caretaker head coach, the fact, everything about today kind of like was making the game special, but it still doesn't explain that performance. Unless, of course, and this is, I hope, the last negative thing I say today, unless, of course, you just take it for granted that what we had before was dreadful. You know, I've done a piece about why it was right that Ruben Amorim was sacked. I think it was about 2 or 3 days ago. I did that video. Go and have a look at it. But we were right to get rid of Ruben Amorim. Amorim had exactly the same players. He never once got them as well organised and as well structured and as well shaped and as purposeful as that. Michael Carrick has done it in 3 days. If this is a harbinger as to how good or bad Carrick is going to be, this is a fantastic start. A little bit of me actually worries whether he can actually match up to this in subsequent games. You know, away at Arsenal is going to be a very different proposition. But what a start, what a start. So let's have a look at the team that he started the game with. And I have to say, what a interesting and very, very... well, I certainly wouldn't have predicted this lineup this morning. Lamans in goal, back four are Shaw, Martinez, Maguire and Dalot. Mainu and Casemiro in central midfield. Dorgu, Fernandes and Diallo behind the forward, who is Mbeumo. No Šeško, no Cunha. I wasn't surprised about Šeško, but I must admit, I had Cunha up front in my mind for today with Mbeumo in the role that Dorgu eventually played. Yeah, this was not the team I expected to see. And I think that this is such a positive. The one thing about Michael Carrick we do know from those 3 games that he managed a couple of years ago was, if you remember, in the game against City, for example, he dropped Bruno Fernandes. Which was the game he dropped Cristiano Ronaldo in? Was it the away game in the Champions League against Villarreal? I think it was, wasn't it? If I'm wrong, do correct me in the comments. But you know what? There's been a lot of cobblers spoken this week about Michael Carrick being a yes man and quiet and you know, he doesn't have much of a personality of his own. Come on now. This is a man who has shown us now in 4 games that he can take very big decisions. And that starting lineup was certainly a big decision. This is how we ended up. Cunha did get on eventually for Mbeumo. Mount came on for Fernandes, and Ugarte came on for Casemiro. But let's go back to the starting lineup. Let's do an assessment of how each individual played. I thought Lamens, I'm going to give a score between 1 and 10, just so you know how I score. To me, a 6 is average, and there's nothing wrong with a 6. A 6 would be that you've performed to your abilities, to your capabilities. You haven't let anybody down. You haven't let yourself down. You haven't made any big mistakes. A 6 is a perfectly average performance. Not good, but average. Perfectly acceptable. So if you get a 6, it's absolutely fine. Fort Lamens, give him a 6.5. There was a couple of mistakes, but there's one very good save in the first half. And his distribution was perfectly good, perfectly acceptable. Didn't see anything wrong with it. 6.5 for Lamens. Let's run across the back four. Shaw, 6.5. A good performance. Nothing special about it, I don't think. Just solid, straightforward performance. Really good. Martinez, absolutely wonderful performance. Really, really very good performance by Martinez. All that rubbish this week that was spoken about how he wouldn't be up to dealing with Haaland. Had him in his pocket. Haaland got substituted because he was so ineffectual. I mean, Martinez today was absolutely wonderful. But then again, so was Harry Maguire. Another 8 out of 10 performance. I thought the two centre-backs today were just immense. Really immense. Of course, Harry probably should have scored in the 3rd minute, but, he was there and he got the opportunity. But it was his header that launched us in for the first goal. Towering header in defence. And it just summed up his entire game. Wonderful performance by Maguire. And you know what? I don't really want to dig anybody out today because it was such a good overall team performance. But probably our most disappointing performer was Dalot. He was really lucky not to get sent off early on in the game. Very, very lucky indeed. Another referee, seeing it a slightly different way, I think would have sent him off. Another VAR panel probably would have sent him off. He was lucky. He was lucky to be on. And he made a couple of mistakes. But he recovered. And the rest of the game was pretty good. So a 6 for Dalot. Moving into midfield. Mainu, 7.5. Really very good performance. You know what? If you want one example as to why Ruben Amorim just didn't get United, it's his consistent looking over Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo's performance today was absolutely excellent. He really tired towards the end of the game. I was very surprised he didn't get substituted. Casemiro got substituted, but not Mainoo, because he looked absolutely exhausted by the end of the game. But he did get a bit of a second wind, I think, in about the last 10 minutes. But there were moments, I think, after about 20 minutes, 15 minutes to go, he looked absolutely dead on his feet. But I think that's about him gaining match fitness as he plays more games. He's hardly played this season. It's almost like he's just come from, pre-season. He needs to work himself into full match fitness. But yeah, some of his play today was really superb. It was a sort of, he received a ball, I think, in the first half and just did a little pirouette around the ball and left the City player for dead. It was just wonderful to see moments like that from him. Just wonderful. Casemiro, real contender for the man of the match. And I have to say, between him and Fernandes, I found it a really, really difficult decision. 8 out of 10 for Casemiro. It was really like it was turning the clock back. He looked like Casemiro of old, didn't he? He was imperious in midfield. Really was. Absolutely superb. Dominated midfield. Dominated midfield against younger City players. I was astounded by Casemiro's performance, and the standing ovation he got when he got substituted was really, really well deserved. I understand that he got man of the match from somebody or other. I don't know if it was Sky or somebody else, Premier League, but he got man of the match from somebody, and Not surprising, because it was a man of the match performance, but for me, just got pipped by one other player. Ahead of our central midfield, we had Dorgu, Fernandes, and Diallo. Diallo was really excellent. I was so unlucky with his shot in the second half. It hit the post. Deserved to go in, that did. Wonderful performance by Diallo. Have to say, on the other side of the pitch, though, Dorgu. Are people starting to get Dorgu? Dorgu is an absolutely excellent buy for this club. He really is. He's an outstanding player. He is physically fit. He really puts a shift in, but he's got a really, really intelligent mind for a player so young, in my opinion. I think he's an outstanding prospect. I think he's going to be a player who's going to be around at United for a very long time. I really do. I think he's an outstanding purchase, and he gets an 8 out of 10. Fernandes. 8.5, my man of the match. He was everywhere. The fact that we played him, or rather Ruben Amorim played him out of position right the way through this season until his sacking, in a central midfield role, not as a number 10. He is the finest number 10 in the Premier League. And to not play him in that position, criminal. He showed today where he should be played and how he should be played. And again, like Mainu, he looked dog-tired at the end of the game, and he was substituted. But no wonder, because he put in such a shift. An assist, a man of the match performance, led by example. Fantastic. Man of the match. And Mbeumo, I was surprised to see him play in that centre forward, most prominent attacker position. I thought it was going to be Cunha, but Mbeumo can do it, and he took his goal brilliantly. The pace we had with Mbeumo, Dorgu, and Diallo really, really punished City. And he took his goal so well. Substituted at the end, not surprising. Just back from international duty. I was surprised Diallo, Ahmad, survived the whole game without having to be substituted. But Mbeumo ran tirelessly, offered himself up all the time. Yeah, just brilliant performance. 8 out of 10. The substitutes, Heaven, 6 out of 10 wasn't really on long enough, in my opinion, for me to make an opinion. He didn't do anything wrong, so a 6. Mount, again, 6 out of 10, wasn't on long enough for me to make an opinion. Cunha was on about the same amount of time, but Cunha, wow, what a substitute performance. Really unlucky not to start the game. Came on absolutely full of purpose, full of penetration, full of, just so positive, willing to take people on. His cross for Dorgu's goal, excellent. Wonderful performance by Cunha, 7 out of 10. It would have been higher, I'm sure, if he'd have been on the pitch for longer. But a fantastic all-round performance by United, as I said. My man of the match, Bruno Fernandes. Just having a look at some of the match stats, by the way, and we had just under 32% possession. City had 68% possession. Constant criticism, and it seems tough to criticise Pep Guardiola with all of his success. But a criticism that hangs around Guardiola surely is, you can have any amount of possession, but if you don't do anything with it, it's pointless. And City didn't do anything with it today. United with far less possession. Just look at these stats. Man United, 32% possession, City 68%. But the XG stats, Man United 2.03, City 0.45. Tons of possession, no product. Shots, 11 shots for United, 7 for City. Shots on target, 7 for United, 1 for City. Yeah, all the possession in the world, no end product. A criticism that can often be levelled at Pep Guardiola's teams. Anyway, fantastic performance. great start for Michael Carrick's a great start for Michael Carrick being head coach at Manchester United. Obviously, not just Carrick's work, though. That team he's assembled has done miracles over the last 3 days. But I think it also shows you 100% right to get rid of Ruben Amorim. He wasn't making the most of the players he had. We've got really good players in this squad. Really good players in this squad. We went up to 4th place. Yes, at last. Only lasted a couple of hours because Liverpool got a point. But a point at home against Burnley. Do you want to know this? We can chase Liverpool down for that 4th place. We really can. And I still expect Villa to start slipping up at some stage or other. But we can get in the top 4. And if not the top 4, we can get in 5th. European football is on. Get behind Carrick. Get behind the team. Cheer them every single minute between now and the end of the season. And I've got a really good feeling about what this season will produce at the end of the day. If you like what I do, like the video, subscribe. If you've got friends you think might like this sort of content, please let them know and get them to subscribe too. If you want to make a donation to what I do here, I've set up a coffee account. The link will be in the description. So my final thought to you, and what else could it be on a day like today? Always be positively united. And see you next time.